So now it's the turn for the OECD. Good morning. My name is Naoto Sugiura. I'm the HR coordinator in human resource management. I'm based in Paris. First of all, thank you again for the organizers as well as the participants. It's really my pleasure to be here and to welcome all the young, motivated, passionate people. Since I'm the seventh person making the presentation today, I don't want to repeat what my colleagues have already said. Instead, I'm trying to focus on the differences of what we do, and which is different from other financial institutions, because what we do is pretty different from others. I'm going to focus today on three simple things. I'm going to talk about who we are, and what we do, and how we recruit. And I'm also going to ask some help from my colleagues to click on the slides. So now we move on to who we are, and this is our office. It's very beautiful. If you can go to the next slide, please. The next. So I tried to make a sort of chronology so that you can link the evolution of our organization with what was going on in the world economy and politics. Our organization was founded in 1961, and this was the year where the Berlin Wall was constructed. And this is not a coincidence, of course. Our organization was built initially to represent the interests of what we call former Western countries. And since then, the organization has been evolving slowly but steadily until 1989, where the Berlin Wall has fallen. And this was a turning point for our organization because we were supposed to transform our raison d'être, so the reason of our existence. And the response of the OECD was that we tried since to represent the interest not for the former Western countries, but of the whole world. And one of the responses, as you can see, is that we started welcoming new member countries. Korea was one of them. It joined our organization in 1996. Another information I can add from this slide is that in 2000, we launched a study called PISA. And some of you might have heard about this. It's a global survey to compare the educational achievement of children in 15 years old. I thought that you may have heard of it because Korea has always been a top performer of this study since the beginning of the study. In 2008, there was the financial crisis that provoked, and this was the second turning point for our organization. That's because in the aftermath of the financial crisis, the role of the G20 has expanded, and the OECD has played a crucial role to support the activity of the G20. And this contributed to increase further our global presence. In 2010, we also welcomed 4 new member countries. So it's been a little bit more than 50 years that our organization was founded. In the meantime, our number of staff members has increased from 680 to more than 3,000, so fivefold, basically. And I especially want to draw your attention that the number of our staff members has increased dramatically and steadily for the last 10 years. And this is a sales point for us. Who does not want to work in an organization which is growing? So now we have 34 member countries. Next, please. So now we move on to Paris. I'm going to explain what we do. If you can move to the next slide. Thank you. So our main activity consists of 3 parts. The first part is called data collection and analysis. We ask our member countries, in particular our member countries' governments, to provide us data on their respective countries. And based on these data, we do global comparison. And then based on the results that we accumulated, we make policy advice. And by the way, this is our Secretary General. He's a former Foreign Minister of Mexico. So as you can see from these 3 previous slides, we're not a bank. We do not lend money. We do not provide financial assistance. We sell knowledge. We sell ideas. And this is a point that you should take in mind, because this is the particularity, the feature of the OECD. However, it doesn't mean that our scope of activity is limited. On the contrary, we cover most of all areas of social sciences. The example is here. We have, if you can go back to the previous slide, excuse me. Oh, the previous slide. Before this and before this. Thank you. So we cover investment, trade, energy, public governance. If you can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. We of course do development, but we also cover employment. So this is the composition of our staff members. We have 6% of what we call executive leaderships, and these are senior managers, directors, and of course the Secretary General. And around half of our staff members are called policy experts. So these are the people who conduct the policy analysis as well as the global comparison. And these people are supported by what we call corporate management staff. So HR, finance, IT, legal, etc., etc. By the way, this is a picture of my office. There's myself as well as my 2 colleagues, Manuel and Elise. Thank you. So this graph shows where our staff comes from. And one thing which is clear from this graph is that we do not have any specific quota system, and we are very proud of this because we can say proudly that we are a merit-based organization. But as you can see, France has its home advantage. If you look at where Korea is, there are 48 people. However, this graph includes all staff members, so officials, temporary staff, interns, everyone. If you move to the next slide, please. This graph is a similar type of graph, but just gets precise to show the composition of our staff members, especially the professionals and executive leaders. If you see in this graph, there are 32 Korean staff. I don't want to say if this number is too high or too low, but one thing which is clear is that the fact that the number of Korean staff increases is a good sign for us, since we put value in diversity of nationality. And I also want to encourage women applicants in our organization, since we do not put value only diversity in terms of nationality, but also in terms of gender. So career opportunities, and this is pretty similar to other organizations, so I try to be quick. So this is our career website. All applications must be done online as other organizations. And we also have a program to recruit young professionals, which is called Young Professionals Program. Again, pretty similar to other organizations. And there's also another similarity, that the program is pretty competitive, or I must say very competitive. If you look at last cohort's figure, we had more than 6,000 applicants, and there were only 20 people accepted. So this is really discouraging, apparently. However, I also have 2 good news to share with you today. First is that among these 18 people accepted last cohort, 2 of them were Koreans. And both of them were women. And they obtained a degree in Korea. And among those 18 people, the country that provided more than 2 people in the YPs, besides Korea, this was only Germany and Ireland. It's great, isn't it? So the message that I want to deliver from this is that don't be afraid. You don't have to be a native speaker. You don't have to have done Harvard or Oxford. If you meet the right qualification, you have the eligibility, you have the experience, you still have a good chance to get selected. The second good news that I have is that now it's open for application. So if you are interested, please go to our website and visit if there's any vacancies that matches your skills and competencies. Please. We also have an internship program which is conducted twice a year in summer and winter. Again, the internship program is currently open for application until mid-March, the winter program. However, I strongly encourage you to apply as soon as possible because this program, again, is pretty competitive, and the earlier you apply, the better chance you have to get selected. So how we recruit, and this is again pretty similar to other organizations. So you have to do your application, which must be made online, as I said. Then you go to the screening process, and then you have to do the written test. It happens. And then there's the final interview. The final interview is usually conducted in Paris headquarters, but this can be done via Skype depending on the applicant's location. You can see that this person is really struggling, but was very lucky to get an offer. So the process typically takes 4 to 6 months. Now I am almost at the end of the presentation. If you are interested, you can have further information about the OECD on our website, like this, as well as on tablets and on smartphones. I should have designed a Samsung Galaxy, but I apologize for this. So now it's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much, and I very much look forward to working with you to realize our mission together, which is better policies for better lives. Thank you very much.